Hey everyone. I am back with you today with a simple card and a rainbow. And those two things are pretty much my favorite two things. I am going to preface this. I am super sorry about the lighting in this video. I am going to keep on trying to work on it. I didn't realize that my studio lights and my overhead lights were conflicting with each other and causing this like rolling flickering thing, and then when I speed up the video and post-processing, it is getting even worse. So I'm gonna keep on trying at it. Again, I'm so sorry. I will definitely be keeping this in mind in later terms. Okay, it does end up fixing itself or not fixing itself. I end up fixing it here a little bit later, but again, so sorry about that. All right, so when the creative team was told to do a simple card, I was like, right up my freaking alley. Like, that's what I love the simple. I love the simple. So I decided to make a birthday card. I always need birthday cards, and so this is the one that I chose to make. And when you add a rainbow with any card, I think that you have a perfect card. I love rainbows. Let me know in the comments below if you feel the same. I just think that a rainbow, adds joy to just about everything. All right, so we are using our Party Raccoons stamp set and no dies, so you don't even need the dies for this. I also have been asked many times on my YouTube videos, like especially with beginners, like if I'm not, a colorist or have markers yet, like should I even be getting character stamps? And I'm like, yes, you don't have to have markers in order to get. And then we used our happy birthday large sentiment stamp, and at first you're gonna see me use just the inside of the happy birthday. I am going to switch that up, guys. I left all the mistakes in this video so that you can see that there is a process a lot of times to card making. You have this vision in your head when you're doing it, and I know that when watching videos, a lot of times it is like you see people that are just like, they just make a card happen. That is a lot of editing on our side. Usually, don't forget that's a lot of editing on our side, and a lot of taking mistakes out and all that kind of stuff. And I like to leave that kind of stuff in because I want to show you that every single time I make a card, I don't just slap a few things on a piece of paper and it comes out perfectly. No, there's a lot of doing something, experimenting, and then making changes to it. And this card was no different, even if it is a super simple card. All right, so we are using our Color Fuse inks to make that rainbow. I used pink, red, and I don't know exactly, you can see on screen, I don't know exactly the colors. I also was doing this live. You can always catch me over on my TikTok doing cards live. It is Create with Kay also, and I would love to see you over there. So you're going to see me kind of use my hands a couple of times. All right, so yeah, I think it was like blush, crimson, apricot, grass, and sapphire, I believe, are the colors that I'm using today. You're going to see that I'm going to do this backdrop again also. I didn't think ahead, and when I used my square die cuts, I cut off a little bit of the edge, which is what I wanted. I wanted that little bit of a lip on the edge, but I pretty much took my rainbow all the way up to the top of my card, and I didn't want you to see that on the outside of the card. I wanted the rainbow hidden underneath the card. So you're going to see right here, you can see that blue peeking through up at the top and some of the green. I didn't notice it right then, but I will in the end, and you're going to see me make this rainbow all over again. Again, I kept it simple, but I'm also going to change this because I wanted the rainbow to poke through, but putting all those little itty bitty pieces in between the happy birthday like regular sentiment was going to be so crazy. Okay, so I ended up using the outside of the happy birthday sentiment die, so the shadow part of it, cutting that out of my cardstock, and then I'm going to inlay the actual sentiment part of it and let the rainbow come through that way. So I'm going to recut out my square die with the square rectangle, or the square holes, I guess. I love this die. I love a good square or rectangle die with a little bit of detail. I think it just adds just the perfect amount of detail to your cards, where it's not just like a plain, die. Like, I love a good stitched, rectangle die, that type of thing. All right, so let's bring out our cute little raccoons. You've seen me use the stamp set before. I absolutely adore this stamp set. I made the cutest purple postcard with this stamp set before. I love raccoons, so this one will definitely get a lot of traction in my cards. Now this is probably where we are stepping up this card just a little bit. So it's not the most simple card in the world. You are going to have to use some mass for this, because I do want to put this birthday hat on here, and I will get my raccoons pretty close so that they're overlapping just a smidge. So we're going to need to use a little bit of masking tape. I do recommend Gina K's masking tape. And a few others. You can also just use some Post-it notes. Like, people use Post-it notes all the time and make it work. You don't have to have fancy masking tape. All right, so you're going to stamp this. You want to stamp out anything that is closest to you. This one, it's a little hard to understand that, but obviously the hat is going to go over the raccoon, so the raccoon needs to go on last. So you're going to stamp your hat first, put your masking tape down, then stamp your raccoon, and you're going to see, voila, he's wearing a little hat. And then we're going to mask off our raccoon and do the next one. All right, so we've masked him off. Now we're going to put our second little raccoon on and clean our stamps, of course. Again, so sorry. I think I fixed the lighting here pretty quickly. I think it's the white background, because it goes away sometimes when I do. All right, let's stamp our second little raccoon down, and he's like waving high, but he's actually going to hold balloons. So the balloons are going to be behind him. So I want to stamp him first and then mask and then stamp your balloons, because you want the balloons to go behind him. So like I said before, you want to stamp anything that's in front. So you're going to get to see this twice, because I do stamp balloons twice. So there we go. And how I am using and showing people that you can use these little characters without using markers, well, we're going to leave them white. We're not going to color these. We're going to let the rainbow be the shine of this card. We're going to keep it very simple and just stamp in black. I am using VersaFine ink. It is a pigment ink. It's a very bold black ink. You will see like my heat gun come in and out a few times, and that is because this is a permanent ink or a pigment ink, so it sits on top of the paper, which means it does take a little bit more time to dry. Okay, so you've seen that I just masked off that third little raccoon, and then we're going to do our balloons again. Now, this is where I was like, oh, I've kind of gotten a little lopsided on this card. This one, I should have moved over behind the other raccoon a little bit more. So now I'm like, I need to balance this out a little bit. So don't fret. Just add another little stamp. So we added a present over there, and that evened out the card completely. All right. So the next step, honestly, was just to let that card dry. Put some foam tape behind this one, and this is where you're going to see that I kind of realized that the rainbow, and it looks like I fixed the lighting. Yay! Somewhere in that cut, I did fix the lighting. So sorry about that. Like I said, again, we will be way more conscious about that later. Okay, here is where I'm figuring out my design flaw. So we are going to redo that rainbow. I mean, I'm not mad about re-ink blending. I love ink blending. I will do it any time of the day, and especially when there's a rainbow. Now, again, do not worry about like getting the perfect blend. These inks will blend together as they dry more, and on top of it, it's a rainbow. It's not perfect. If you want more of a perfect rainbow, just go back through and do it a second time, and then your colors will come together even better. But also, like, this is the background, so I wasn't too worried on it being perfect. I just wanted that rainbow effect in the background. Again, I like my colors. I believe I was right on all of those colors. But here they are again. My green is turning out a little more yellow in this lighting for some reason, but it is a true green. I don't know why obviously I was just struggling with my lighting all day today. Also, the other thing I was trying to do was push those colors in a little bit more. I had realized that like I didn't have that much room, so you weren't seeing all those colors, and I really wanted that blue to come in the end, so that I would get the pink and the blue, and it would be, you know, used for a girl color or a boy card. Clean my fingers, because, you know, always getting, that's my hardest thing to do with simple white cards is the finger smudges, I tell you. All right, you did see me put some masking tape down to make sure I didn't get any ink on the top of that card. That works, whatever you got to do. And now we have clean edges. So we use some foam tape. You see me use some liquid tape also, or liquid glue on the foam tape so that I could put this down. I knew I had to center it a little bit, so I just wanted that little bit of extra time to get it centered if I didn't put it down exactly. All right, I was not pop dotting or putting this up on foam to bring it up. Like, no, we're going to inlay it and be just fine with it not being popped up, because that would have been crazy to cut out all that foam. Use a little bit of our Barely Arts glue to glue that down on the back, and honestly, this card comes together. I said at the end that I should have done 2 or 3 of these cards, because that was how easy this card came together. And that's exactly what I wanted. All right, guys, thank you so much for showing up for my simple card, and I will see you in the next one.